Good morning, friends. It's late morning now. Welcome back to the channel, guys. How you doing today? It's warming up a little bit. We're in the 40s now, and we're starting to really thaw out. Keep going, right? I know, I'm so over it, But give me a hug. Thank you so much for your kind words and your support, and just for being awesome and being here and understanding. And I can't ever say that enough. So listen, here's the deal. So I had something in mind that I want to talk about. Maybe I'll film it later, or tomorrow. I don't really plan my videos. I just sort of, it's so funny because we come up here and James is like, get your camera, come here and look at this. So, because living here, there's endless content with what we do, which is a blessing. And we love what we do. We love our animals, we love our family, and we just love everything about what we're doing. And we're very blessed, and we're so happy to have you here. And you've blessed us too, and you're here for the ride, and we thank you. So, we've had a situation today. Like I said, I don't plan my videos, so we'll just sort of put off what I was going to talk about for a day or two or whatever. And if it doesn't feel right on tomorrow or Monday to talk about it, then I won't talk about it. See, I just go with the flow day by day. So we've come up here, we've done all kinds of things this morning with hay and feed and going to the dump and all that fun rural stuff that we do. And we've cleaned our barn up and fed our animals and all of that. And unfortunately today, I have some sad news. My largest bird, Tank, well, we found passed in his stall. If you're a regular follower, you've seen him, you know his story. I got him, I think it's 4 years ago. It's 4 years ago that we've had him. And this is basically the type of turkey that you're going to see on your Thanksgiving table. Okay, I'm just going to call it what it is. These birds are typically bred only for that. I mean, any turkey obviously can be, but those in particularly are. And it's kind of like your meat birds, you know, a lot of meat. And I ended up getting 3 of them 4 years ago when I went to the co-op. I actually went to go get a different breed, and I did, of turkeys, and they were there, and this is when I got Tweety. So I got 3 birds. I got Tank, dump truck or Tank, whichever you want to call him, and then I got Betty White, you remember her? And then I got Tweety. Now, Tweety I wasn't going to get. I had no plans of getting 3, and I didn't have plans of getting any of them, but I love them so much, and they're just the sweetest birds. They really are. And they're not aggressive. They're not aggressive. Mine haven't been. Tweety was given to me because she was going to be put down because she's disabled. I mean, she's massively cross-beaked, and she's missing an entire eye. It didn't get poked out. Turkeys can poke each other in the eyes. Quail are really bad for that too, by the way. So you have to kind of watch that. But if you see her, that didn't happen to her. She literally does not have an eye. And so we lost, unfortunately, just out of the blue. You just come out to the barn and they're asleep. Betty White, I think it's been 2 years, and James loved her. Oh, he was so devastated about Betty White. She'd follow him around. Tweety follows me around, but Betty White would follow James around. Like, hey, you know, and he'd squat down, and she'd come over and nestle next to him, and he would put his arm around her. He'd have to put his whole arm around her. Sweet as pie, y'all. And Tank was the same way. It's just sweet. So I don't know. It's been about 2 months when the weather really started cooling down. I put Tank into a stall, and Turkey 2, my oldest turkey. You're like, who's this? Turkey 2 I've had since he was supposed to be my Thanksgiving turkey. For 2017. Is that right? Is it 16 or 17? We've had this turkey for about 8 years. He's my old fella. Sweet as butter. He's really mellowed out. He just sort of hangs out. So he and Tank were in the same stall because Tank got to the point where one of his, I don't know, he was having trouble with one of his legs because he got so heavy. And he could still get around, but I didn't want him to be competing as hard for food. So we decided to put him in a stall. Turkey 2 hangs out at this. Turkey 2 has figured it out. Turkey 2 is smart, that old fella. He's like, if I just hang out in this stall, excuse me, she'll give me a bucket of water and feed me, and then I don't have to share with nobody. See, see how much wisdom you gain with age. It's really, really nice. So Tank and Turkey, too, were hanging out, being cool. And, well, like I said, it doesn't surprise me, really. But we walked in this morning, and he was fine yesterday. Perfectly fine. James said he was fine last night. James came up and closed the barn as I was doing some stuff at the house. And he was like, he was fine. And I'm like, honey, you didn't do anything wrong. This was meant to happen. It's okay. We had this bird 4 years. So James kind of beat himself up because he was like, he's been trying to, he's thinking about, did I miss something? He didn't miss anything. Bless that man's heart. But here's what I want to tell you. And some of you are going to have a different opinion, and that's cool. I have some footage. I don't know how much of it I'm going to share because I don't want anything to be inappropriate on my channel. I try to be respectful. This is why I don't show butchering on my channel. I have no problem with people growing and consuming what they grow. As long as they do it, I hope they do it respectfully for their own sake. But I don't show it. It's too emotional for me. It's difficult for me. I hate it. But I know it's important. But I think a lot of respect has to come with it. And, people, I think a lot of times just flippantly do things. And whether they have a YouTube channel or not, they don't think about it. But this is why also people tell you not to get too connected to your animals or name them. Because if it's meant to be for food, you better know that from the get-go. And I will tell you right now, that's absolutely true. But sometimes it's just really difficult. So I got him out. He's very heavy, and I didn't think I was going to be able to, but I did. I got him out. So I laid him in front of the barn area so we could go ahead and finish everything, and James is going to have to bury him today, right? Immediately, I don't mean like 10 minutes later. I mean within like 45 seconds, all of my toms started going over to him like, what is going on here? What is going on here? And two in particular, who I've never had trouble with, and I don't think gave Tank a hard time, were circling him and got on top of him. Now, I know what you're going to see. Let me just put it to you this way. I watched very carefully. They were not treading him. Do you understand what I'm saying? If you have birds, what roosters do to hens. So I know that sounds utterly disgusting, but I was concerned. I was like, because I've never seen this before. So I was like, what are they doing? They kind of sat next to, and kind of one of them on top, and they put their wings out on them. And they would not allow the other birds to get too close. Now, at first I was like, are they dominating him? Are they? And I sat there for a minute, because I'm just going to say, I was like, what? And they got off and they would walk around him. They weren't aggressive with him. One of them, you could see a little bit of the neck, was kind of pulling, not pecking, but just kind of pulling. I don't know how you feel about this. I've done a little bit of reading and whatnot, and we sort of think, this is why I'm saying, we have to understand that the animals that we raise, they have emotions too. I know you don't want to believe that because you just want to like eat your steak and not worry about it. And I understand that, okay? But the fact of the matter is, they are gifts from God for us, and we're supposed to be good stewards for them. And believe me when I tell you, it's not myth. It's not mythical that they have emotions, that they have behavioral patterns, they have a hierarchy, that they feel stress, that and you can Google and look it up. I mean, they research it. They do. And believe it or not, turkeys are very emotional animals. They're very social birds. So I pulled James. I was like, James, immediately. And I was like, you tell me, what are they doing? And they said, he on his own, he said, they're guarding their buddy. They're checking him out. They're seeing if he's gone, and they're guarding their buddy. That's what they're doing. I said, you don't think they're like trying to dominate? He said, it's not the impression that I'm getting. But I mean, they could be. He said, but that's their buddy. So James and I both, so I mean, we've watched this, and it's not happening now, obviously, but anymore. But I wanted to share this with you because, number one, like I said, this is why I personally choose to not share certain things on my channel. It's too emotional. And number two, I don't care how rough and tough you are in terms of, you know, I'm gonna slap this, I'm gonna slit this and slap this and tear this down and do this. I get you. But in the process of every time you do that, please be respectful as possible. I know y'all are out there, but there are some that aren't. And, you know, I really do believe that God is watching not only how we treat each other, but also especially how we treat children and how we treat animals. And even in times of butchering or in times of death, I think that these creatures deserve the utmost respect. And I just can't imagine it being any different, but I know that at times it is. And we have to do, you know, there's always opinions about how to raise certain things, that this is better than not. If you provide good shelter and you make sure you're protecting them from sometimes even each other, you know, this is why I'm so protective of my dogs. As far as some separation here, I don't want them getting into it. I don't want them to feel they have, you know, competition. I just don't want that for any of my animals. I got another turkey egg this morning. It's not frozen. It's dirty as all get out, though. She's dirty. And I'm going to put these eggs in my incubator. This is from Tweety. I took eggs from Tweety. She started laying. It took her years to start laying. She hasn't laid this year that I've seen yet. But last year she laid several eggs, and I put them in the incubator. And I got 3 babies, 2 hens and a tom, from Tweety. And her girls are laying eggs. So I really want to get them in the incubator, which will be tomorrow. Tomorrow is Sunday. I like for Sundays to be my incubator days, because if you don't know this, when you incubate any eggs, it is the next day after, which is day 1 on your countdown, whether it's 21 days, 26 days, you know, 28 days, whatever the countdown is for whatever you're doing, okay? Obviously, you know that quail is 18 in most cases. Coturnix, that's what I've raised. So my point is so if you put it, so tomorrow is not day 1. When I start that incubator, it's 24 hours later that it's day 1. So Monday will be my day 1. But this is another egg. It's a little bit dirty. I'll just kind of scrub it off, not dry scrub, get some of that off and put it in there. Some of these may hatch, some of them may not, but I'm going to try because they're laying. Turkeys don't lay consistently like chickens. Good layers, they just really don't. They come in spurts. Geese are the same way. They do it in spurts. Quail can even do that, do it in spurts. So, I'm excited to get some eggs, and I really wanted to do to put these eggs in the incubator and see how they turn out, because I know they're coming from Tweety's lineage, and they'll be crossbreeds, you know, all that. But I wanted to share this with you. I wanted your opinion. I've got some good footage of this. It's not offensive, but I know it's sensitive. I may show just one little clip. Some of you are going to say they're just dominating him. Could be possible. I'm not going to deny that. But I really watched, and they were not aggressive. It wasn't, I'm just going to say this. It wasn't like I said, they weren't treading him. Okay, you got me? But it was like, I'm on him, I'm checking him out, and this one, he spread his entire wing, and he just was sitting there. And you're like, is he conquering or is he protecting? And James is like, that's his buddy. I think he's protecting him. So they were checking out to see if he was gone, keeping the other toms away. And I just want you to think about these things when you're homesteading, even if it's just simple chickens and rabbits. There is a certain level. Now, some of these animals, you just go, that beta rooster out there, he ain't got no emotions. He's nothing but hate. Now that that may be true on him, but it's pretty miraculous to watch how these animals interact with each other. When we had to bury Miss Belle, and she's buried just right over here in the field because she's too big. We buried her where she passed, right? And you should have seen my other cows. I mean, you just want to sit there and not get too emotional about it, because you want to sit there and go, they're just wired up because the tractor's out. That's not what it was. And they cried out. And just know that there is a major connection from you to all living things, to the baby in the womb that you carry, which the world is trying to get you to deny, to the children that you have given birth to, which the world is trying to warp. You should have a connection to the environment around you and be respectful of it as much as possible, because God gave that to us to thrive. And in addition to that, the same with the animals. They're here for a reason, yes, but there comes a lot of respect with the territory too. I hope this video finds you well. Tell me your thoughts. Tell me your experiences. I think it's an interesting topic, really. And it just makes us understand things a little bit better. God has a reason for everything. Okay? Every single life that we see is from the crow to the flogging rooster, to the beautiful turkey, to the sweet dairy cow, to the deer. Name them all. They all have a purpose. And once you figure that out, you may think it, but once you emotionally experience it, it really does change your perspective. It's just like becoming a mom. Once I had my first baby, the things that mattered to me prior to having a baby didn't mean anything anymore. It all changed. Amen. Like, subscribe, and share. Pray, prep, and be peaceful. Thanks for being here. We're going to get him buried. All is okay. All is okay. It's an interesting topic, and it's a sad day. But again, it's something to learn from. There's a reason for everything. I love you. Have a great Saturday, and I'll see you on the next video.